And here is another auction find. A pair of nightstands I bought sight unseen from an online auction. I paid $32 for them. You might be wondering, why, Lori? Why on earth did you buy something that looks this bad and pay money for it? Well, I knew they had an Art Deco look to them, and I know Art Deco pieces are often made with very nice wood veneers, and these, although obviously have been painted, I decided to take a chance on them and try my luck to see if underneath all that yucky brown paint was something worth saving. And here is evidence of where the two pieces were attached. I'm giving Stripwell another chance, even though I haven't had much luck with it previously. So anyhow, I spray it on and let it sit for 20 minutes and I move on to removing the hardware. I've decided to completely redo just one of the nightstands for this video so that I can show you side by side what is possible for even the most hopeless looking beginnings. Of course, after I finish filming, I will redo the second one to match. I have just given it a second coat of Stripwell finish remover and see if that takes off the next layer of paint. Okay, I'm not having a whole lot of luck with that QCS stripper. It doesn't seem to be working very well, or it's taking a very long time to get through all the different layers. So I'm going to go back to my old faithful, which is the circa 1850, which is like a gel stripper, and I'm going to try that and see what happens. Don't be stingy with your stripper. I apply the gel stripper quite thick. I find it works better that way. It will end up saving you loads of time over trying to put multiple thin coats that don't really work that well. I'm prying off the back panel just to make the refinishing process a little easier. If I can take the back off of furniture, I often do because you just have easier access to the drawers and it's easier to sand the inside of the back of the cabinet as well. Question is, are these screwed on or nailed? I think they're nailed. Yeah, they're nailed. Clean those up. They'll look nice again. I am removing this little piece of wood that is being held on by two nails because it will be easier to scrape out the bits of paint that are remaining underneath it. I'm also using this dental pick in all the crevices. Okay, it's day 3, I think, of stripping this nightstand. And still quite a bit to do. Although the thick stuff's all off. So that's good. Crazy to think this will ever look good. But it will. The two drawers are in pretty rough shape. Besides being quite dirty, one of the drawers is also missing some veneer that I'll have to patch after I finish sanding. What I'm doing here is I'm wetting down the front of the drawer so I can see a little easier the white flecks of paint that are left on the surface, and it'll just make it a little easier for me to pick them out with a dental pick. Here I am filling the gouges on the sides with some wood filler. I came to the conclusion that at this point my only option was to paint the sides. I could re-veneer the sides, but number one, I don't have that much veneer right now. Number two, the veneer is expensive and I don't think I could recoup the cost when I sell the nightstands. And number three, it would be really hard to color match with the existing veneer on the other side. So paint it is. The inside front edge of the nightstand has a lot of paint left in the grain, but that doesn't really matter because I'm going to paint it to match the exterior sides. And that way, when the drawers are closed, you will see a cohesive color, not the natural wood color. This is the underside of the side panel of the nightstand. The stripper didn't quite get to this part, so I'm using a scraper to get most of it off. I know you won't see it when the nightstand is sitting right side up, but just the thought of it there bugs me, so that's why I'm scraping it. When you refinish a previously painted piece, everything takes longer. After the initial stripping, I often go back and forth between scraping and sanding until I get a surface I'm happy with. I decided to save the back panel by sanding it, then gluing it up in some of the places that needed it. Sometimes I will get rid of the back panel and replace it with a new one, but despite this one having seen better days, it wasn't stinky and it cleaned up really well. The profile of the top side piece was missing from the back of the nightstand, probably because that is where the vanity mirror sat, so I rebuilt it with epoxy putty. Epoxy putty is a great product for this kind of repair because it's very moldable and it dries really hard. And once it hardens, you can sand it to blend it in. Okay, this is the top. I've repaired that little spot right there with some wood epoxy. The profile of it is pretty good. Can't see it there. There. It's pretty good. There is still a slight burn mark here, but there's not much I can do about it. I don't want to cut it out. So I'm just gonna leave it as a battle scar of its life. I have decided that I do have to paint the sides, obviously, because of the vanity part being removed in between. So I'm going to paint the sides, but I'm going to leave all the other parts, the walnut, although I am going to stain it just because there's quite a bit of discoloration and different tones of walnut on the piece. So that will help just look a bit more cohesive. See, the doors are quite a bit darker than the top.
Not that it's a bad thing, but I just like them to be in the same tones, even if one's lighter and darker.
I'm giving the top a second coat of stain. I wasn't quite happy with the look of it after the first coat. The depth just wasn't there, so I decided to give it a second coat and see if that helped a little. I've applied the first coat of black paint to the side panels of the nightstands. Now I'm just giving it a light sand to go over and put a second coat on just for better coverage. The sanding just makes it extra smooth. I like using Fusion's beeswax finish on the painted surfaces because I think it just brings out the color a little bit better. It just makes the color look richer and have more depth. It's a little shiny in this shot, but once you buff it off, it just becomes a sort of a nice luster. This redo didn't turn out exactly as I'd hoped, but pretty close. I didn't realize these were part of a vanity until I brought them home, so I had to pivot and add some painting to the mix. But I'm still really happy with the results, and seeing the refinished piece next to the unfinished one really highlights what's possible with a little bit of TLC. Again, thanks for watching to the end, and if you like this kind of stuff, please hit the subscribe button, and I will see you next time. Bye.